Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how to write an equation when you're only given 2 points that are on that line, okay? So let's start with the points -1, 4, and 1, -6, okay? Now, to just reiterate what's happening here, and you could do this with graph paper and find the slope and do it like we did when I gave you a picture of a graph, but you don't need to. We're going to be able to do it from just the 2 points, but I want to show you what we're doing. So the point -1, 4 is -1 up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the point 1, -6 is to the right 1, down 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what we're doing is writing the equation of this line, okay? Now this isn't really straight. I can tell by what my answer is going to be that I didn't make that super straight, but that is the idea of what we're doing, okay? So the first thing you need to do is find the slope. So first thing is find the slope. And we're going to use the slope formula to do that. Okay, so I would label these points over here, x1 and y1, and x2 and y2. So then we're going to use the formula to find the slope. So m is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So minus a negative becomes plus a positive. -6 minus 4 is -10. 1 plus 1 is 2. And -10 over 2 reduces to -5. So my slope is -5. That's what I'm going to use in my equation. Now, Friday, we talked about how to write the equation of a line when you're given slope and 1 point. Well, we have 2 points, so you can pick whichever one you want to use. I usually go for the one that has the least amount of negatives in it, but both of these points have 1 negative and 1 positive number, so one really isn't any easier than the other. So I'm just going to pick the first one. So if I use the point slope formula, so then after you find the slope, then use formula to write the equation. And you get to pick whether you want to use y equal mx plus b or y2, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, or y equals mx plus b. Remember we talked about that? You've got 2 different options, okay? So I like this one, so I'm going to use this one. So that's y minus 4 equals m, which we found to be -5, and then x minus a -1 is plus 1. So that means y minus 4 is equal to -5x minus 5 if I take -5 through the parentheses, and then my last step is to add 4 to both sides. So y equals -5x minus 1 is my answer. Okay, now let's talk about one where you get something a little bit different for your slope. Okay, so let's say you have the point 8, 5 and the point -6, 5. Well, the first thing you're going to do is use the slope formula. So y2 minus y1 is 5 minus 5, and x2 minus x1 is -6 minus 8. 5 minus 5 is 0. -6 minus 8 is -14. 0 divided by any number is 0. So my slope is 0. Since 0 is a number, you can actually plug it into the formula and use it. But I like to just think this, okay, if my slope is 0, my line is horizontal, and you should have in your formulas that if you have a 0 slope, your equation is y equals y1. So if you don't have that in your notes, write it down now. 0 slope means you're going to use the formula y equals y1. Well, the y1 or the y2 is 5. So your answer to this is y equals 5. You don't have to go through the formula when you get 0 as your slope or if you get undefined as your slope. Okay, so let's look at a similar situation. Let's say you have -7, -5, and -7, +2. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is find your slope. So your slope is 2 minus a -5, and then -7 minus a negative 7. So we get 7 on top. On the bottom, we get 0. 0 on the bottom is undefined. If you type it in your calculator, you will get an error. If you type 0 divided by negative 14 in your calculator, you'll get 0. You can't put the word undefined in a formula. You just have to know that if you have undefined, then you're going to have x equals x1 as your equation. Well, the x1 in both cases is negative 7, or the x1 and the x2 are both negative 7. So your answer is x equals negative 7. So if you get 0 slope, you're going to have y equals the y value. If you get undefined slope, you're going to get x equals the x value. A shortcut way of looking at this is if you have the same y values in 2 different points, your equation is going to be y equals that number. If you have the same x value in 2 different points, your equation is going to be x equals that value. Okay? So that's how you handle those 2 unusual situations. Okay, let's do one more. Let's say you have negative 4, negative 2, and you have negative 8, 3. First thing you're going to do is find your slope. y2 minus y1 is minus a negative 2. So 3 minus a negative 2 is plus a positive 2. Then x2 minus x1 minus a negative 4 is plus 4. 3 plus 2 is 5. Negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4. So my slope is the fraction negative 5/4. Now when I go to put it in the equation, I'll put my negative with my 5 because it's just easier to work with, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to pick one of the points. I'll go ahead and pick this one because in the formula I use, those will both become positive because I have minus. So y minus y1, remember the formula I'm using is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. If you don't have the formulas written down that you need to do that and put them all in one place so you can refer to them, okay? They need to not be on a whole bunch of different pieces of paper. Okay, so that's the formula I'm going to use. So y minus negative 2 is y plus 2. My slope is negative 5/4. Notice I put the negative on the top number in my numerator. And then x minus the x value, so plus 4, because minus a negative 4 is plus a positive 4. So y plus 2 is equal to negative 5/4 x, because you just take that times that. And then when you take that times that, remember 5 times 4 is 20, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. You take the top number times that, and you divide by the bottom number. So I have negative 5. Then I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides to get my y alone. So my answer is y equals negative 5/4 x minus 7. Okay, you can absolutely stop and rewind this and slow it down and listen again if you need to. This is the information you need to know in order to do your assignment today on Delta Math.